Hi there, and welcome to version 0.20 of the Keep the Peace prototype. For those of you new to our community, Keep the Peace is an in-depth law enforcement strategy game in early development for the PC. My name is Nick. I'm the creator of Keep the Peace. Today I'm going to run through this prototype version of the game. If you'd like more information about the game or you want to get your own hands on the prototype, check out our website at playktp.com. As I mentioned, the game is very early in development, and much of what's here is still placeholder or still needs to be built, but there are a few core game mechanics that I'll show today. Keep the Peace puts you in the shoes of a police chief, and when you first start the prototype, you're presented with the town that you're responsible for. This particular map here is a small demo map. It's very basic, and it's really meant only for the prototype, but you can see there are a few different residential areas. There's a small commercial area downtown here. The first thing I'm going to do is pause the game. There are some time controls up here in the top right side of the screen. You can pause them there. You can also just use the space bar to toggle pausing and unpausing the game. So I'll do that. And then we can move around the map. The camera controls, similar to a lot of real-time strategy games. You've got a couple options here. You can move your mouse to the edges of the screen. You can use the WASD keys to pan around. You can also hold down the middle mouse button and move the mouse to pan around. That works as well. You can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, with the scroll wheel. And also with the R and the F keys if you want to use the keyboard. You can rotate the camera using Q and E, and also if you hold the control button and then drag the middle, hold the middle mouse button and drag around, then you can rotate in all dimensions. That works as well. I'll give a quick tour of the user interface. Over here on the right side of the screen is a list of your units. Right now we don't have any. We need to set some up, and we'll do that in a sec. Up here at the top are a few different statistics. Most of them are disabled right now in the prototype version of the game, but you can see, for example, how much money your department has available. Over here on the left are a few different buttons. You can open up a list of incidents that are occurring in your city. Right now there aren't any, but that will change. You can also open a list of patrols that you've created. We haven't created any patrols yet. We need to do that as well. We'll do that in a second. And then up here at the top are a few different buttons to open management windows so that you can manage your department. And the first thing we'll actually do is we'll click on this officer management button, because we need to hire a few officers for our new police force. So we click on that button, it's going to open a list of candidates that are available for hire. For now, most of these candidates are fairly similar. It doesn't matter too much who we pick, but in the future, you're going to want to pay attention to the different skills and characteristics that these officers have, because it could have a significant effect on their ability to complete different tasks, whether they're good at conflict resolution or driving or leadership or forensics or whatnot. You might want to hire specific officers for specific tasks that you want to give them. For now, we need a few officers to start up our new police force, so I'm gonna select, let's say, 6 of these, and then I can hire them all at once if I go up to here, bulk actions, and hire all selected officers. Now if I go over to the officers tab, I can see the 6 officers that we selected here. If I want, you can actually, if you mouse over them, you can click this little button and you can rename them if you want. Let's do this. Perfect. And then otherwise, you can just close this window, close window. So now we've got several officers for our police force. That's great, but we still can't do anything with them unless we actually create some units, unless we assign them to units. So the second button up here at the top left corner of the screen is unit management, and if we click on that and then click on new unit, we can create some units for these officers. This opens up the create new unit window. Here we have a number of different options. The first thing we need to do is give this unit a name, a call sign, something unique that they'll be referred to on the radio and such. You can put in whatever you want. I'm going to put in 9901. And then we can select a vehicle for this unit. So select vehicle. Right now there are just two vehicle options. As time goes on, we're continuing to add new vehicles to the game, so keep an eye out for that. But for now we just have a sedan and an SUV to choose from. I'm just going to do the sedan for now. Select it, press confirm. And we can see a preview of our vehicle here. There's a little bit of a bug that the headlights do some funky things here if the game is paused. If I just unpause the game for 1 second and pause it again, that goes away. Anyhow, we can click and drag the mouse and take a little look at the unit we have so far. Right now it's pretty uninteresting, but we'll change that in a second. The first thing we need to do though is add some officers to this unit, so we can click this add edit button and select any two of the, or you can put one officer in here, you could put two officers in here. I'm going to put two officers in this unit. Confirm. And then we can customize the unit in various ways. We can customize the paint scheme, we can add lighting and equipment. So here on the paint tab, the game kind of ships with a few different built-in textures that you can use, such as this one or this one. You can also download textures that modders have created and uploaded to our forums. If you visit the forums on the website, then you can check those out. You can also create a custom paint job right here within the game. So if I click on this From Custom Paint button, then I can click at this base color and I can make the vehicle whatever color I want, or select one of these presets. I'm going to do this kind of light blue gray. Confirm. And then on top of this you can add some other paint details. So maybe I'll do this diagonal stripe, make that white. One more. Oops. Okay, that's good. And then you can also add decals to the vehicle, which there's various text, badges, flags you can add on. I'm going to do a little police decal. Click this reposition button. You can move it around, get it into the position you want. You can resize it, change kind of the aspect ratio, rotate it. You can make this perfect. I'm not going to go crazy here though. I'm going to make it white. You can change the color. I'm going to make it white. Press confirm. That decal only gets placed on one side of the vehicle, but if you go down to it here in the decal list, there's a little duplicate button, and you can press that, duplicate it on opposite side, and now it'll be on the opposite side as well. The rotation's a little off, but if I edit it, I can just tweak that. Okay. And then maybe I'll just add one more quickly, and I'll add a badge. And then similarly, I can resize that, reposition it. Right there. I could change the colors if I want. There are a couple colors in this particular decal I can change. Confirm, and just duplicate it on the opposite side. Okay, and we're good. All right, I'm keeping this one pretty simple for now, but you can go wild when you play around with this. The last thing from a paint perspective you can change, you'll notice that the unit name, the call sign, is showing up here on the roof and on the side of the vehicle. You can take those off if you want. You can disable those. For example, if you were creating an undercover vehicle or a stealth vehicle and you didn't want those to show up, you could disable those. You could also change the colors of those of that text as well. I'm just going to leave it as a little off-white, and we're good. Okay, so I think that's good for paint. If we go to the lighting tab over here in the customization section, lighting, every vehicle has a number of different attachment points that you could put lighting equipment on. So for example, I can click on the roof here and choose a light bar. Let's do this one. And then maybe add a few deck lights here, some grill lights. Those are a little hard to see, but they're there behind those circles. Um, and then similarly for exterior equipment, if I click on that, right now there's only one attachment point here in the front, and there's only one piece of equipment that we can add, which is a push bar, but I'll throw that on there. There's not a lot of equipment here to choose from, but again, as the prototype progresses, as the game progresses, we're constantly adding more equipment. With interior equipment, again, very few options. The only thing we can choose are prisoner seats so that this vehicle can actually transport suspects, pick up arrested suspects, transport them to the station. That's important. So I'm going to add a couple prisoner seats. We'll be adding more equipment options in the very near future. So that's about it for now. We've got our basic unit here. If you wanted, you can save this design to a file so that you could load it into future games, or if you want to share it with your friends, share it with the community, you can do that as well. Otherwise, just hit this confirm new unit button, and I'll just close this window for a second, and if I scroll over to the police station and zoom in, there we can see our new unit ready for duty. All right, so that's one. We've got 2 officers assigned to a unit now, and we've got a couple more. So I want to create a few more units. That took a little bit of time to customize that unit, but we can create new units based on that first unit really quickly. So if I go back to the unit management screen, then new unit, and back here in the create new unit window, call sign, the game will actually suggest a call sign for this unit based on the previous unit, and I can just click here on 9902 and it'll fill that in for you. Obviously you can still put in whatever call sign you want here, but the game will try to make a suggestion if you had numbers in your previous call sign. Here in the select vehicle cell, I can click this copy last button, and it'll copy everything from the previous unit, all of the paint, the equipment, the decals, and everything. So we don't have to do that again. All we have to do is assign officers to this vehicle. So again, I'll click the Add Edit button for officers, add 2 officers to this unit, and we're done. I can click Confirm New Unit, and we've got our second unit. I can do one more real quick. Copy last, add edit officers, confirm, done. Ooh, there's our funky headlights. I'll pause the game for a second. Okay, and there are our 3 units all ready to go. All right, now we just need to give these fellas something to do. So the first thing we can do is create some patrols so that they can patrol around the city. I'm going to zoom out here a little bit. Go back to that patrol list that we quickly looked at in the beginning and open that up, patrols. And I'll click the Create New Patrol button. And you can name your patrols if you want. I'm going to call this Downtown. And then just click and drag here on the map, and you can select the area that you want this patrol to cover, just like that. Oh, I got a few houses I didn't want. If I press the right mouse button, I can get rid of anything I didn't mean to select. Okay, that's good. Confirm. And I'll create maybe a couple more. Call this one West. Confirm. One more. East. Do this section here. Do this part as well. Good. Okay, so now we've got 3 patrol areas and we've got 3 units. So let's assign each unit to one of the patrols. We can do this in a couple different ways. If I select one of the units, which I can do by clicking on it on the map or on the unit list over here, if we select it, this little unit window pops up here on the right side of the screen, and there's a section which will say no patrol route assigned. If I click on that, it opens a little drop down, and I can just set the patrol from here. I can assign this one to downtown. Alternatively, if I select a unit, like this one, if I select a unit, I can go over to the left-hand side of the screen to the patrol list, and I can just right-click on any of these patrols here in the patrol list. Right-click. That works as well. All right, so having done that, I can unpause the game, and our units will start patrolling. They'll start driving around the city. I can close this patrol list to get rid of all these funky colors. Okay. I'm going to ignore that burglary call for now. Okay, but that's basics of setting up patrols. In the future, we're going to be adding several additional options to the patrol part of the game so that you can choose what your officers should be prioritizing while they're on patrol. Should they be prioritizing traffic enforcement or community relationship building or whatnot? You can kind of give them some priorities. Just like that. All right, so the next thing we can take a look at are incidents. If I open up the incident list here, I can actually see that a incident has randomly happened, a burglary call here. I'm going to actually ignore that call for now, though. Down here, oh, now a street robbery. That's not good. Down here in the bottom right section of the screen, because this is a prototype version of the game, you can actually open up a debug window here, which there are a few tabs at the top, and there are a few different options you can play around with. You can change how frequently incidents get generated, for example. You can change the kind of time of day, how that looks. But you can also click this Spawn Instant tab. And if you want to create an instant of any particular type, you can do so here. For now, again, because it's an early version of the game, there are only a couple options and a couple instant types to choose from. But you can click various ones here and create different types of incidents. Just like that. Okay. I'm going to click on this shoplifting call that we just got, that I just created. And we'll use that as an example. So I can select this instant by clicking it here on the map, or I could select it from the instant list on the left. And when I do so, it opens up this instant window here on the left-hand side with various information about the instant. I can see there's a suspect involved, and if I mouse over them, I can get some additional information. Looks like they're already being held in custody, which is convenient. We probably just need to transport them to the station. There's also a shopkeeper here who has some evidence, so presumably maybe we need to talk to that individual, interview them, question them. But the first thing we need to do is assign a unit to this incident. By far the most easy way to do that is there's a button here, send nearest patrol, and if you click that button, whichever unit is in the area is patrolling closest to this incident will automatically be assigned to respond. Alternatively, you can manually select a unit. If I go over and select 9901 over here, just click on it. I can right-click the incident here on the map, or I can right-click the incident in the incident list. Either of those will assign this unit to this incident. And then we can see the unit will respond. We'll head to the scene and we'll respond. I'll just pause the game for a second. Many of these simple incidents your officers can handle completely on their own. All you need to do is assign someone to respond, and they'll go to the scene. They'll pretty much take care of everything. With more complicated incidents or incidents where there could be adverse consequences if things go wrong, you might want to take manual control and tell your officers exactly what to do. So if we take a look again at this shoplifting window, there's a button up here, this little gear icon, and if we click on that, we've got a couple different options. By default, these incidents are set to fully automatic orders. So you assign officers to the incident and they will automatically decide what to do. They'll automatically kind of issue themselves orders. On the other end of the spectrum is fully manual orders. In this case, you will have to explicitly tell your officers what to do. You'll have to explicitly create orders and then assign officers to those orders. So like I mentioned, by default, it's set here to fully automatic orders. Because of that, we can see here on the instant window under active orders, there are already two orders created here. One, question person, that's to go question the shopkeeper and collect that evidence from them. And then a second order is also being created, transport prisoners, to transport that suspect to the station. And the officer, the unit, I should say, that we assigned to the incident has also automatically been assigned to that first order, the questioning of that shopkeeper. We didn't have to do any of that. That all automatically happened because the incident was set to fully automatic orders. Alternatively, though, I can change this. I can change this to fully manual orders. And then if I do that, I can cancel these orders that were automatically created. And now our unit doesn't have any orders, and actually a little alert will pop up at the top of the screen saying there's a unit that's assigned to a job and it has no orders, it needs orders, just to let us know that it has nothing to do. But we can see here in this available orders section, we have a couple options for manually creating orders. Depending on the incident, depending on the circumstances of the incident, you'll have different options available here. Since this is a pretty simple incident, there's only a couple options, those orders that we already saw. So I can manually now create a question person order to question that shopkeeper. All I have to do is click this button. It'll create that order. And then there's a couple ways to assign the unit to that order. I can click on them, click and drag, and just plop them in there. That works. Or if I have that unit selected, if I have them selected, then I can right-click on the order here. That works as well. Alternatively, one more option, if instead of selecting fully manual orders, I had selected automatically assign units to orders, with this option, you still have to manually create an order, but units will automatically be assigned to the orders you create, so you don't have to do any of that clicking and dragging. So that's an option as well. So now if I unpause the game, but unpause the game, those officers will get started on that order. They're talking to the shopkeeper, collecting that evidence. That didn't take long. Now they're done. So that's all good. But they're done that order. Again, now they have no more orders because we didn't give them anything else to do. So either we can go back to the incident and create a new order for them, tell them to transport that suspect to the station, or alternatively, I can go back and just set this instant back to fully automatic orders. And if I do that, then that transport prisoners order will automatically get created like before. And the unit will go ahead and transport that suspect to the station. And I'll just fast forward the game quickly while they do that. We can follow them. And once they get to the station and they drop off that suspect, everything with the incident now is all resolved. We talked to the shopkeeper, we transported the suspect, so everything is done. We can see the suspect's been jailed, the evidence has been secured, the shopkeeper was questioned. and this instant is now closed. And since the instant is now closed, we can see that our unit has automatically resumed their patrol. Okay. So in the time that we've been doing that, a whole number of other instants have popped up. I'm going to take a quick look at one other. There's a burglary call over here, which happened about an hour ago. With incidents like burglaries and street robberies, instance where you have a suspect that is probably fleeing from the scene, if you don't have officers in the area close by and you don't respond fairly quickly, the odds of you actually catching that person in the act are extremely slim. So we could send some officers to this instant and have them take a look around. Um, but because it's already been an hour since this incident happened, and we've got a whole bunch of other incidents that have popped up, and we've only got 3 units, one option is you could just say, I'm not going to be successful at this instant, and I'm going to manually close it so that our officers can prioritize other things. If you select the incident here and go over to the incident window, there's this red X button you can use to manually close the job. And if you click that, then the job will be manually closed. It'll disappear from the map, and you can go on and send your officers to something else. So I just wanted to highlight that option as well. Obviously, ideally, your officers are available and they're patrolling and they're covering the entire city and you can respond to incidents like that quickly. But there are certainly going to be cases where you need to prioritize different things because you have limited resources. All right, so that's all I'm going to run through for now. In the coming weeks, as we release new versions of the prototype, we'll have some new videos that we can walk through other features of the game and new gameplay mechanics as they get created. Again, if you have any questions or want more information about the game, visit our website, playktp.com. You can check out the official forums, ask questions, make suggestions, give feedback. You can also chat with us on the official Discord chat server, and all the links for that are in the description to this video. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the development of Keep the Peace, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.